How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. This is JR and you have tuned in to the Hustlers Apprentice channel. If y'all don't know me by now, I'm a realtor, serial entrepreneur, and all-around hustler. And if this is your first time checking out my channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button along with the bell. That way you receive all the notifications for all of my future videos. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. Today I'm going to be telling you guys a little bit about my story, my credit journey, how I increased my credit score by 200 points. It's probably even more than that, you know. But this goes back to, and a lot of you guys who've been through this, or you ladies who've been through this. I got divorced back in, well, I didn't get divorced till 2016, but I was separated in 2014. Single father, taking care of the household and my kids at the time. And I wasn't making as much as I was making, you know, probably about a few months before that. My income decreased by like a third, maybe more. So I was stuck with all the bills. So I was kind of like living off of credit cards also, along with the little job I had at the time. So I wasn't able to, you know, pay all my bills. I had to let some cards go, let them charge off and things like that, as well as other collections. Prior to this, my credit score was probably like close to probably over 800 at this point, because I never paid things late, paid everything on time. Credit was clean, had high credit cards, 20K plus on a few credit cards. So, you know, everything was good. So during this time of going through the separation, like a lot of us do, my credit went to ish, destroyed, decimated. Went down, and like a lot of people, I didn't even want to check it because I knew it sucked. I knew I was letting all these things go and making late payments and whatnot. So after it all cleared up around 2015, 2016, I started working on my credit, even though I got divorced around 2016. But this was when everything came up because I started making more money. I finally looked at my credit one day and I saw I was like right at around 500. So I was like, man, I see all this stuff on TV about people boosting their credit scores and, you know, all on social media. And I'm like, man, you know, I need to get on that. I need to get on that plan, because I was trying to make some moves, you know, at this time. So I was like, well, if all these people are doing it and advertising it, I said, I know for sure I can do it myself. So I started looking into it, and I came across some some books, and YouTube, same thing you guys are doing right now. Came across the 609 letters, which I urge you guys to check out, or if you want to, I'll get to my plug later on. But I came across the 609 letters and how to do it, and I'm just like, well, okay, well, let me try this out for myself. I hadn't really looked at any YouTube videos at this point. Like I said, I just picked up a book and read and saw the examples of the 609 credit report and what I needed to do. Which the 609, if you don't know, is Section 609 of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. That's basically where it tells you about your rights, so on and so forth. And they have to confirm the debt and provide you proof, written proof of the debt, so on and so forth, which the credit bureaus never really do. So, and it doesn't matter whether the debt is yours or not, they have to confirm and validate the debt and provide you proof. So I'm reading the book and I'm like, okay, everything looks sweet. So I start writing the bureaus. Well, first of all, what I did was I pulled my credit report on Experian.com. It's only $1 for you guys to check your credit report on there, and it gives you your FICO scores as well. So that's what I did. I looked at all the derogatory information on there, and I plugged it in on each bureau, for each bureau on each letter. So that's 3 letters. There's 3 different bureaus. So you're writing up 1 letter for each bureau. Experian, Transunion, Equifax. And it has, you know, obviously you can Google all this as well. It's 609 letters, you can Google it. And the addresses to mail your disputes in, you can Google it. So I did all that and, you know, typed it up in the format, basically. And it, you know, the 609 letters have what you need to put on there. You just plug your information on there. So I was like, let me try this out to see if it works or not, you know, because I've been hearing, you know, stuff like that. And I know all these credit repair companies are making all this money off of it. So let me try it for myself. So I followed the directions. You know, I included a copy of my ID. You have to have all your information, including social. and why you're doing it. And some people notarize the letters. I didn't notarize mine. I still don't notarize my letters now when I do them for people. So I didn't notarize them, but I did send them certified. And some people still do that. That way you have proof that you mailed it off. So, you can report them. You can report them later on. So if they don't remove it for whatever reason. So I send it off. It takes approximately 30 days. Before I did that, though, I had found out you need to get your old addresses deleted first, because they use your old addresses to confirm the account or validate the account. So I would remove my old addresses first, then send the dispute, which is the same letter. You can send 2 different letters instead of the same letter trying to remove your addresses on the same, because it doesn't make any sense to try and remove the addresses on the same letter as the derogatory stuff, if you follow my drift. So you want to get the addresses removed first using the same 609 letters. So that's what I would do. So when I finally sent it off, within 30 days, I got my results mailed back to me, and I saw that a lot of stuff had gotten removed, and I was like, wow, man, this is like magic. So I'm getting them back from all 3 bureaus. So a lot of these books that they teach you, you send multiple rounds. So I was like, I still had stuff on there, because it doesn't always come off on the first try, just letting you guys know. So I sent off my second round of letters, came back, more stuff came off. And I think, I would do it each time all the way up to like the 4th round. And I mean, I still do it to this day. And eventually, I think by like the 2nd or 3rd round, like I was in the late 600s, just that quick. So by the 4th round, I noticed that some things just weren't coming off. Some of these bigger credit cards I had, they just weren't come off, but I eventually got them off as well. So what I noticed was I started doing my research on credit and realizing the factors that affect your credit score, 35% being payment histories. And there's an algorithm with your payment history. And I always tell my clients now, you need to have a minimum, for you guys who've been watching all my videos, you need to have a minimum of 5 open accounts. Preferably 20. If you go on Credit Karma, they'll break it all down for you. So I had 20, I have well over 20 now. But what it does is the credit bureaus basically, they have an algorithm when they generate your score based off of on-time payments to overall payments. And it generates a percentage. So the more on-time payments you have, the higher your score is going to be over time, if that makes any sense. That's just like if you have 7 accounts. Well, let's just make it more simple. You have 5 accounts, right? Back to what I said, you have 5 accounts. So that's 5 accounts that report monthly to the credit bureaus. Let's just say you miss 1 payment. That puts you at 80%, right? Your payment history drops to 80%, right? But let's say you only had 2 accounts. Let's say you missed 1 payment. That puts your payment history where? 50%, right? So the more accounts you have, the more payment history you're generating, which gives you more leeway. So if you had 10 accounts, I know I'm getting remedial with you. If you have 10 accounts and you miss 1, that puts you at 90%, right? So you're following me? So that's where I learned the more accounts you have, the more payment history you'll generate. And that's where trade lines come in as well, which I'll talk about that. Now, I know you're probably like, well, JR, by me having all these accounts, I'm going to get all these inquiries and blah, 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 blah. If you're trying to build your credit, as long as you know the lines that you need to apply for, that you're going to be approved for, which is another thing that I offer, just like these lines that I've been putting out on my channel that you can apply for, you're going to be approved for them. So at the end of the day, the only time inquiries really matter, for the most part, is if you got something serious going on, probably like 30 and 40 inquiries, or if you're trying to apply for like a specific credit card, a Chase card, or one of these very rare cards that's hard to get when they look at certain things like that. Other than that, if you're trying to just buy a car or even purchase a home and things like that, inquiries don't really affect you that bad. Inquiries do affect your credit score. Don't get me wrong. They stay on your report for 2 years. But after a year, they no longer affect your credit score. Inquiries are typically 2 to 3 points each for the most part when you get a hard pull, a hard inquiry. I'm referring to hard inquiries, guys. So, soft inquiries, whenever you check your credit report online, that's a soft inquiry. So it doesn't affect you. Hard inquiries are the ones that affect you. So by me doing all of these things and, applying for these different lines of credit, I learned about utilization. And at first I was just like, okay, 30% is what they tell you. You want to keep your utilization at 30%. What I mean by utilization, I mean like if you have $1,000 credit limit on a credit card, you want to keep it at $300 or below the balance at the end of the billing cycle, right? That's what the powers that be in the credit bureaus advise. But that's just to keep it where it doesn't negatively affect you, so to speak. Preferably, you want to be at 6% or less. You want to have your utilization at 6% or less. So that's what I worked on doing, is getting paying my limits down, and in conjunction with that, getting more lines of credit that had higher available credit that I wasn't using as cushion, which I explained on my other videos before. So by doing that, I was able to keep my collective utilization down to less than 6%, which helped me out as well in terms of building up my credit score. So by doing all of these things, that's how I increased my credit score within to 200 points. I'm sitting up here forgetting what I'm talking about. By 200 points. That's what I did personally. Now you can invest in trade lines. They help out as well. But and this is what I always tell my clients, which I like to tell you guys, you can add all the lines of credit, all the trade lines that's 30 and 40 years old of payment history, perfect payment history, but that's only going to help you but so much. If you have a ton of derogatory marks on your credit report, it's going to hold your score down. So when I try to explain to people as far as credit, look at your credit as a hot air balloon. And I always give them that disclaimer. I'm not trying to offend you or be remedial, but I just give you this analogy. Your credit is a hot air balloon, right? Every derogatory item that you have is like a weight, a sandbag, if you will, that's holding that's what they hold hot air balloons down, I'm assuming. I don't know if they do that anymore, but as far as I know, they hold them down with sandbags and stuff like that. So every time you get one of those deleted or removed, it clips off. It's no more weight holding it down in terms of that specific sandbag. That deletion is gone. So a trade line is just like a quick burst of, I want to say nitrous. You guys know what I'm saying. It's like a quick burst of fuel. And it's only going to go up but so high because you got all these weights tied to it. So every time you make an on-time payment or you add a new type of credit like installment, revolving mortgage, auto, you just turn up the heat a little bit. You're turning up the heat a little bit. Adding a trade line, turning up the heat a little bit. But it can only go so high because you got all these derogatories holding it down, if that makes any sense. I know I'm all over the place. It's late at night here. But that's the best way for me to describe it to you guys, how that works. So that's what I did, as far as boosting it up within 200 points. If you really stick to it and you're hard down on it, within 4 months for the most part, and this is what I tell all my clients, if I can't get it off in 4 rounds, then it's probably not going to come off. You usually have to settle or something of that nature, and then we can try to get it off after that. But in 4 months or 4 rounds, you usually can get off what it is that you need to get off. 4 rounds of those disputes. So that in conjunction with building positive payment history, because at the end of the day, your credit report is your resume. So, that's how I got back in the 700s. By doing that and by making all my payments on time, not missing any payments, being careful if I go to the doctor and there's a copay that I take care of that, things like that. So with that being said, appreciate you guys for tuning in. If this video has been helpful, give it a thumbs up. Let me know your thoughts on building up your credit score. If you got any questions, you know, leave them below, or please feel free to email me. The link is in the description as well. I also have a book, you know, how to build credit in 30 days, but a lot of the info I've given away to you guys already on this channel. So check out my other videos as well as that. Also, don't forget to subscribe, you know, right there. That way you receive all the awesome content and everything that's yet to come. And with that being said, you know, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Check out these videos here. Peace be upon you, and I'll see you guys soon. I'm out.